Comment down
Give you,
below, what is your heart rate? Maybe you're sitting
yes.
here and you're like, hey, I've never commented before. You can do it. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the comment section. There's not going to be any comments at all. And you're going to leave the first one. You today could be the first one to leave a comment. And all you have to do is type in your heart rate. It's going to be either 2 or if you're obese, 3 digits. So look down at your Apple Watch today or take your 2 fingers and get your pulse. Jrich and Jerry, we're here with you. Trail Whispers podcast on a Thursday afternoon. Fun stories, chiropractic care. Life's an open book, so sit back in your chair. We're walking down the trail of life, so come along. With Trail Whispers podcast, you can't go wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, number 8 coming
Number
at you.
8.
The crazy 8. So here we are, season 1, episode 8 of your favorite podcast. Hopefully, tell a friend, please. Yeah.
What's the viewership like?
You want
Free
like
prime time?
dynamics? We do have one non-binary listener, so that's exciting. Other than that, depends on the week. Usually it's a couple dozen people. Sometimes I don't know, it's less, and I don't know why. I don't know what we're doing wrong, but
Maybe we're not
yeah,
offending enough people.
I don't know if that's it necessarily. I mean, we're logged into this, so viewers, you know, you guys have heard this last couple weeks. Jeremy's in Florida, so he'll be back here in a few weeks, but we have to log in as names. And so his name he logged in is Chocolate Rain. What does that even mean? No one knows, but it's hilarious. So I saw that and I was dying.
Dude,
I
this
like
has
it.
been a great app to use. I will say that. It's been very easy and fun. So,
Yeah, pretty easy. Sometimes the audio is not ideal. So, I'm assuming, we can hear each other okay, but sometimes on the video it doesn't come through this clean. So,
yeah.
oh well, in person will be better. And it's just the energy too in person. I feel like I'm missing it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
we get jazzed up, when you're together, there's a vibe that's going on, and yeah, we've got a good energy when we're hanging out.
Yeah. Some
So,
podcasts are just this all the time. Like it's always a video conference. I don't know. Good for them for being able to pull it off and get followers and stuff, but I like being with people.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. There's so much nonverbal too that you miss in a video, you know? So,
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be sweet back together hanging out. So,
when are you getting back?
first week of April we'll be back.
Okay, cool.
So, a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Yeah, how was your week? Tell me a little bit about your week.
Dude, week was great. Great week. Um, yeah, trying to think. So usually every Tuesday, unless I have something going on, I go to my sister's and have dinner and hang out with my nephew mainly, and then my brother-in-law will usually get home usually right before I'm going to leave. He works a lot. So, but yeah, had a great time over there and then went out to Wings with a buddy of mine. I don't think you know, Micah's brother, Ryan, do you?
Uh-uh.
Super cool guy, but yeah, he's a good friend, but hit it off with him over this past summer and, we just had a good time together. 50-cent wing night. When's the last time you heard of that happening? So
Years. Where'd
I
you
know.
go?
this place in Norton called Wing Warehouse.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was good, really good. When you walked in, you got this feeling like this place is sketchy, but the server was real nice and like they were really quick with service and yeah, we got there at like 4:30, 4:45, something like that. So, yeah, I met him in the parking lot with a freestyle rap that I made up about getting wings. It was exciting.
You want to share it
And
with us?
oh man, how does it go? 50 cent wings with my friend Ryan. Sauce so hot, I be crying. Um, I forget. That's all I remember.
That's how you remember. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Dude,
We used to,
were the wings pretty good overall?
yeah, yeah, they had different sauces. So, I don't know, maybe we could do that for our top five. We could do top five wing sauces if you want
Ooh, I do like
later on.
that. Do
Yeah,
like
let's do that.
that.
Let's do that later on. But then, normal week for me. So then Friday I go get the kids and we just had an awesome weekend. So, well, it seemed like it was going to be worse than it was. So it started out Friday. It's like 9:30 p.m. and Noah he's my oldest, he's 11, just loses his lunch 9:30 at
Oh
night and then
no.
proceeds to do so like every hour, 1 to 2 hours in the night for a total of like seven more times. But he didn't have a fever. He didn't feel sick. Like he would wake up and be like, Daddy, and then he'd throw up, and then he would just be like, this is the worst. Like, I don't even feel sick. And I was like, I don't know what's going on, buddy. Like maybe you got food
Oh.
poisoning or something. But then the next morning he just had a headache and stuff just from losing all his fluids. So we got him some Gatorade in him and, he was fine. We were supposed to go to a birthday party, my nephew's birthday party this weekend, and he was just, we thought he was going to be good. We thought he was going to be good. And then like an hour before we're supposed to leave, he's like, I just don't feel like all the way better. And I was like, okay, you don't have to
Hmm.
go. So my mom took the two youngest, but it ended up being like a huge blessing in disguise because he and I got to hang out one on one for like 4 hours. And I was like,
Nice.
whatever you want to do. And he's like, let's start with playing Halo multiplayer. Let's do a mission together. And I was like, okay. He's like, let's do it on the hardest. And I was like, sounds good, buddy. And then he said, and then we're going to play basketball. I was like, all right. So he's been really into basketball and, so we played around the world together and it was fun, and then he's like, all right, let's play sticky darts. So we got this game where you like stick a dart to the table and then you're trying to see who gets closest to it. And that was a blast. And then he's like, let's play Fortnite. And I was like, okay. So it's just like, whatever you want to do. I said, if you want to get food somewhere, we can. And he didn't really want to do that. He just ate snacks that we had here. And dude,
Dude, that's awesome.
it was a great time. Great time. So
And
yeah.
he's the one that recently was taking you on in a game of horse and saying you had to like touch the ground without bending your
Yeah.
legs. Did
He's
he do that
actually got a
again?
pretty good, no, he wasn't messing like that. We played around
Okay.
the world and then we played horse, but he wasn't, I was just trying to prove a point to him in horse of like, hey, I can take you. So I did, but yeah, but he's also 11. And
Yeah.
so, he weighs like 60 pounds or whatever, 70 pounds. And so he doesn't have the weight behind the ball to be able to shoot long range or anything like that. Not that I'm like the best shooter, but yeah, it was just a
Dude,
good
that's
time. It was such a
awesome.
blessing in disguise. And I decided this summer. So, the viewers are probably aware, but it's, I'm I'm 33 years old. I am divorced, and I live in a van by the river. Um, no, definitely not something that I wanted. Didn't expect it to go this way, but in the summer I get the kids for every other week, and so I want to make a point to every other week take one of them out and do something just one on one. dinner
Yeah.
wherever they want or something, you know. So important to do that.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, and then
Winning your child's heart. That's sweet.
yeah, I guess that's what you're doing. I guess I didn't think about that. Winning their heart. But yeah,
Hmm.
it's true. And those are the things you remember. Like I specifically remember that as a kid. I remember it was a Sunday night and I grew up going to church on Sunday nights as well. And I was sick and my dad stayed home with me and he had this game on the computer where you were this tank and you would ride around taking out bad guys. And he let me play the game and he just sat there with me and like explained it to me and I just thought it was the coolest thing. But I remember that to this day, like my dad showing me how and then me watching him and just it was nothing special. It's just a silly game,
Hmm.
but it's just the memories.
Yep. That one-on-one. It's
So
huge.
yeah, that was my
Dude,
week.
that's awesome.
Good week. Things are rolling, man. We're picking up at work too, so that's been a blast. And yeah, the kids got to stay for church last night as well, so that was a lot of fun. And
Did
yeah,
they have
just such
today
a
after
good
school?
time. No, they didn't. I thought they did, and so I had originally arranged to do that, but they ended up not. So I went into work but just, took them back last night and just had some extra time with them. So I'm grateful for it for
Nice.
sure. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
that time's
me.
precious. That's sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. It was awesome. So what's up with you? How
That's
was your
cool.
week?
Dude, we had a good week. Our week was we got a good rhythm over here. Drop my wife off at her training, go to the park, spend some time at the park, go to the library, do some school, and then sometimes we'll stop in a little coffee shop, get the kids are into chai lattes. So
Oh, really?
I'll get a chai latte for them and split it three ways, and then I'll do, drink for myself, and we'll hang out for a little while, go for a little walk sometimes, do stuff like that, and go pick my wife up. So it's just kind of a pretty low key. We get back home and do a little family walk in the neighborhood. So we had a wild thing. Was it last Thursday? No, last Friday. So we were back home. I came down with like a really bad migraine, super bad. Like it hit me really bad, so bad where I had my wife get a ride back to our house that we're renting, and we're back home, and my oldest, she's like a mother in training. She's like, Dad, you can lay down, you can rest. I got the kids. I'll get them snacks, whatever you need. She gets the bed prepped, sound machine on, ready to roll.
Really? She's like,
Dude,
man,
she's
chocolate rain's hurting right
yeah.
now. Take care of this guy.
So, I mean, she's awesome. She's incredible. So, yeah, so I was able to lay down. I did like a half dose of NyQuil because I'm like, if I go full dose, that won't be good. I need to be like coherent, but I need something to be able to like take the edge off. So I did, and I got up, and then I was up and I was doing some work on my computer, and the two youngest were playing like doghouse, and they're playing, and our littlest, Claire, she like flap, or did she get flipped over or something like that, and hit her forehead on a mug that was sitting on the ground. And she hit it square because the mug didn't move. And so she had this blue line right down here. And she's crying, this giant bubble right there. Just a mess. Well, of course, my wife gets home and, you know, what's happened? Were they unsupervised? And I'm like, no, no, no. I got these kids under control.
Were they unsupervised?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Dad maybe was a little bit tipsy from the NyQuil,
It's
but
always it's always your fault though.
it's always your fault.
Why don't we ever jump to the conclusion of like must have been a freak accident is,
Yeah, yeah,
whatever. Are you okay? I don't know.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And so then to make matters worse, we go on a family walk, and so she takes after my wife, so they're not they're not the most fleet of foot. So, there's some times that, they you just if you know them, you know how this is, where it's just stuff happens and it's like it's a genetic defect. I'm sorry, kiddo. There's nothing you can do.
And
So
this
we're
is
on
your
this.
youngest?
This is our youngest.
Okay.
So she's got that genetic gene like that, and we're literally on a walk. My wife's doing homework. I got all three kids. We are walking around the neighborhood, and she falls on her own, trips over her own 2 feet, and face plants on the concrete.
Oh no.
Dude, so this bubble goes from, pretty sizable to like large, all over her forehead, scrapes up her entire nose is bleeding. I'm carrying her back to the house. Thankfully, I was wearing like a red shirt, just blood everywhere. Dude, it was such a mess. That poor little thing. And then the next couple of nights, we're like, kiddo, on these family walks, we have to hold your hand. You can't fall again. If you fall again, we're going to the hospital because at that point, it's probably going to split open. So,
Yeah. Well,
dude, it was a wild week.
maybe instead of holding her hands, you should just give her a helmet at this point. Like
We'll get it
honestly,
like that helmet in the movie Troy, where it's got like the metal coming
the
down
nose
right through
guard.
here.
Yeah.
Yes,
Or like a
yeah, dude.
baseball helmet with a big, yeah,
I think so. Yeah, she just and even like and my oldest too, and she's also got mom's gene. She like walked into her sister and about knocked her over again, and I'm like, guys, we're literally going on a family walk. This should not be dangerous. Give
yeah,
yourself room, spread out, don't trip over your feet. So
yeah.
it was quite a wild week, but it was fun.
That's rough.
So
My kids are all pretty, I don't know. They're definitely not like me. I think Jonah might be more
that's a
so
good
like
thing.
me. Yeah, because I'm that same way, like falling or just freak accidents and stuff like that. But they all seem to have it together, which is good, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, when
yeah,
those things happen, I'm just like, there's nothing you can do.
yeah. We went on a family walk on, well, it was Saturday, so Noah wasn't up for it. So we just walked around like the street around our house, and me and Ella and Jonah. And Ella was just fascinated because there was this Mexican roofing crew that was working a couple houses down, and they were playing the real loud Mexican music, like the mariachi
Oh,
style.
yeah.
And she was just like she was dying laughing. She's like, "What is that? What is that?" It's like, "That's Mexican music." And he's like, and she was just like, "How do you know they're Mexican?" And I was like, "Because they're listening to Mexican music." And she was just fascinated. So then she wanted to go. Sunday, I took him out to a restaurant and we went to El Campesino, of course.
Nice.
And because I
And you
said
probably
that
ran
to
into
her,
like a dozen different families that you know.
I saw people there, but we were the first ones there. Like, as soon as the open sign flashed, we walked in.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah, we sat down and they brought us hot chips, fresh salsa, and they had our order out in like 10 minutes. So we saw people like coming in, but then they went and seated them up top. We were like, they kind of put us off by ourselves. I don't know if it's because I have kids or what, but yeah. Let me ask you this. So you
Put the
mentioned,
sick off to the side.
yeah, but he was better by then. He ate some cheese quesadilla. He was good. You mentioned about like your daughter giving you like putting the sound machine on and you're popping NyQuil in the middle of the day. Um, do your kids fight when you leave the room or like when you're napping? Were they fighting at all? Or are they just playing real nice together?
It all depends. Sometimes she'll overstep her authority because she knows she's in charge and she likes that authority, which
Mm,
will make her a very good mom one day. Um, but generally they do pretty good. And I think it's, at that point too, they're also watching Daniel Tiger. They know like we get to have a fun afternoon because dad's not feeling good.
yeah.
So yeah, they got to do that. So I think they did pretty good overall.
Yeah.
Why? How
See,
about you?
oh man, I ran into this past Saturday. I just wanted to take a shower. Like I hardly slept because Noah's waking up all the time, getting sick, and so I just want to take a shower. And so I do my standard shower, which is 6 minutes. I take a 6 minute shower basically every time. So I'm, I do my hot water, my washing, and then I switch to 3 minutes of cold, and then I get out, and it's nothing special, right? And so I just want to take a shower in peace. And Ella is just going crazy on Jonah. It's those two. It's the two youngest. Like Noah
Oh,
doesn't want
yes.
anything to do with it, but they just are going after each other. If there's a show on, it's different, but there wasn't anything on for them to watch or, hold their attention, so they naturally found things wrong with each other or kicking each other or whatever. And then my daughter had super long fingernails, and I was like, we need to cut
Oh,
those. And she was like, no. And I was like, why do you like having long fingernails? And she was like, because Bubba's messed with me and I scratch him. And I was like, hey, I guess that's your only defense as like a 6-year-old little girl coming up against your older
yeah,
brothers. So
yeah.
what can you do?
She's got like a nail file. She's got these things razor sharp.
No, I did file them down. I was like, you just can't have them this long. We got to cut them down a little bit here. This is crazy. So it's wild.
Yeah, I have to watch out. Our two youngest are the same way. They will go at it. And it's funny you say that because Claire will do that. She'll swing. And if I don't watch, her nails grow super fast. And yeah, she's scratched and clawed and left some gouges a few times in Rowan, and it's like, yeah, look out. This girl, she fights dirty too. So,
Yeah. Well, I've kind of taught Ella that too. Like, hey, there's times when it's okay to fight dirty. If
yeah.
you're really getting hurt, fight dirty. That's what my dad always taught us. But I don't know. But it's your brother. And so it's not a big deal. We don't need to go crazy. And like sometimes she'll be like ruthless. Like she hit me with a hammer or like something crazy. And I'm like, what is going on? So,
She's got a
and
little crazy in her.
yeah, she does. But oh well. I was just curious because you made it like that story you told. I was like, man, that must be super nice just to be able to be like, all right, guys, Dad's taking a nap.
And you're like trying to get a 6 minute shower. Kids are burning the house to the ground. Your
Yeah,
daughter's like, I will drink your blood.
yeah. After she scratches it out of you.
Okay, so I got from this past week, I'm going to give you, you got to guess what I did, something I've never done before. And no, it's not take NyQuil in the middle of the day.
Something I had never done before. Is it? Can you give me a hint? Is it like an adventurous thing, or
Yeah, I would say it's adventurous. I
do you
think
go
it's
scuba
adventurous.
diving?
No, 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 no. Remember, I got the kids. I can't leave them up on the boat. I'm a dad. I'm a stay-at-home dad during the day.
That's true. That's true. As your wife trains for the YMCA lifeguard program,
I just hope she gets in.
that's the prayer at this point. Just got to do homework for it. Okay, something you had the kids with you, something you've never done before. Florida related?
No. Actually, we talked about it on the podcast last time.
Did you eat an entire cantaloupe?
No, but dude, my wife was like, "Is he really eating an entire cantaloupe a day?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard."
Yeah, step off, Mariah. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm a picture of health. Look at me. You know what? I went to the doctor this week and
Did
and she
you?
took my pulse. She took my pulse and it was 60. And she was
Okay.
like, that's really good. Do you exercise a lot? And I was like, no, I don't exercise at all. And she was like, that's surprising. And I was like, I've been eating a cantaloupe every day for 2 weeks. And she was like,
Oh,
what's that? And I was like, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I guess my heart's just working okay right now, you know. So sorry.
dude,
So you're,
maybe you could get a YouTube video out there. If you want to lower your pulse, do this one trick. That's it.
yeah, yeah, just totally bogus. You see those videos. It's like,
Bogus.
yeah, lose belly fat this way. And I was just like, this is
Eat a sleeve of
ridiculous.
Oreos. Yep.
I actually, dude, I fell off my diet so hard this
Did
weekend.
you?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. So we're back on it.
Heart rate's
But
back up to 120 again.
120, sleeping, resting rate of 120.
Dude, could you
Dude,
imagine?
you'd have to, like, let me look this up real quick. Highest resting heart rate. I still want to know the thing you did. Highest resting heart rate. Heart rate. I can't spell. Pictures of cantaloupe. Look, this was on my screen when I opened my internet browser. So, um,
Oh, that's so
what's the
awesome.
highest? Dude, I just want to know, like, the fattest person, what their heart rate is.
It's got to be 100. I feel like these people, we've seen some of those things where they're like those, 800-pound people. How on earth is someone that large and they're still alive? I have no idea.
Yeah, 100 beats per minute. Um, that's a lot. That's like double.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to do some research on this. It's not giving me
Yeah.
anything good here. But anyway,
Yeah.
so
And,
what
and,
did you
and
do?
comments down, I'll
Oh,
give you a
yeah.
clue.
Comment down
Give you,
below, what is your heart rate? Maybe you're sitting
yes.
here and you're like, hey, I've never commented before. You can do it. What you're going to do is you're going to go to the comment section. There's not going to be any comments at all. And you're going to leave the first one. You today could be the first one to leave a comment. And all you have to do is type in your heart rate. It's going to be either 2 or if you're obese, 3 digits. So look down at your Apple Watch today or take your 2 fingers and get your pulse. Ahead. We'll give you a second to do that now.
We'll give you 60 seconds. Go ahead.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, go ahead. Do that for us. We'd really
Oh,
appreciate it. But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
you're good. So, remember we were talking about it last week on the pod. I made it 66 hours without food.
Did you really?
Yeah. I, we were talking about it and I was like, okay, so I just ate earlier today. This was before the pod. And I was like, I'm gonna see what I can do. And it was fascinating. And I think, so actually the last 2 days were pretty rough because I had like a headache. And I think it was a culmination. If I look back, I think I was probably drinking too much caffeine.
Mm,
And so my body was like, it was a caffeine crash. And I think even though I was using electrolytes in my water, I think I could have been a little bit slightly dehydrated,
yep.
even though I'm always drinking a ton of water. So I'm going to try it again and see if I can I so badly wanted to hit 72. But when I got back home and was doing and I had, my daughter pretty much nursing me back to health, I was like,
Yeah.
I need to eat some food because if I take NyQuil on an empty stomach and that breaks my fast, that could be seriously bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Dude,
it was
that's awesome.
fascinating.
I did it accidentally on Wednesday. I didn't go 66 hours or anything crazy, but I, I ate at like Tuesday. I ate at my sister's, and that was the last time I ate. So it was probably around like 6. And then, let's see, Wednesday morning, I didn't eat breakfast. I just had, I don't think I had coffee. I think I had tea. So I
Okay.
had some tea in the morning, no sugar or anything. And then it was like 11 o'clock. I had some appointments for work and I was like, oh, I'm feeling pretty good. And then it was like 2 in the afternoon. I got back to the office and I was like, dude, I'm meeting Ryan for lunch in 2.5 hours or for dinner in 2.5 hours. I didn't eat anything yet. And I was like, why eat now? Like, I'll be
Yeah.
eating at 5 o'clock. That'll be like an almost a 24-hour fast. So
Nice.
yeah, it was cool. I felt good. Like I felt like I had energy. I was hungry by dinner time because it was 24 hours since I'd eaten, but I felt good. And
Yeah.
so
You think you'll do it again?
well,
Uh-oh.
I was gonna replicate it again today. And so, cause I was like, Justin, you fell off your diet this weekend. You need to be punished. This is what you get for being obese. You gotta be punished. And so I left the house with nothing. And I was like, I won't get anything to eat today.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna
I know where this
fast.
is going.
Thankfully, my friends at Domino's had a pizza deal, and so for $6.99, I got lunch. And obviously, that's not ideal, but yeah, I was just like,
Your
oh
friends
my.
at Domino's.
So I did not go into the fast prepared, and it wasn't just like oh, I'm not hungry, I'm not gonna eat thing. It was like, I'm really hungry, like, yeah, I need something to eat. I don't want to spend a lot of money. $6.99, I can get a thin crust bacon mushroom pizza and fill the
Dude, that
cracks of
sounds
my heart.
good.
It
Yeah.
was really good. So,
Yeah. And then
yeah.
you probably felt like crap afterwards.
I didn't actually feel too terrible. I think because I got the thin crust, not as many carbs, but I was just, yeah, I don't feel good now. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how it works. That's
So
how it works.
you're gonna try to do 72 hours is what you're gonna try to do?
And then we go for 72. Yeah. So I've kind of geared back the coffee a little bit. So all I did the entire time was coffee. So do a cup in the morning, maybe the cup in the afternoon, and then just water with electrolytes was it.
Mm,
So, but it's fascinating because I was doing some research on what happens with your body, and I did not realize that at 72 hours, your body starts reproducing
sure.
new stem cells, which was fascinating to me. And so
Stem
I'd like to
cells?
stem cells. Yeah,
Hmm.
do a little bit of research on your own, but it's fascinating like what happens with the body. But, it was cool because after about 30, I think around in between 24 and 30 hours, my my hunger just like stopped. So
Mm-hmm.
like that you get like at 24 hours you're ready to smash wings. Give it another about 6 hours or so, and that hormone or whatever it is that triggers like the feeling of hunger
Starts with a
just like
G. I forget
subsided.
what it is.
It's
Yeah.
like gremlin or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yep.
So yeah,
Cool.
so it was fun. It was definitely different. It was a good mental challenge, physical challenge, spiritual. Yeah, it was like, here's a time I can focus on like nothing physical. There's no focus on the physical at that point because you're not fueling the physical at all.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like had I not had the headache, I had plenty of strength and was feeling good that way. So I feel like I could have gone for a good little bit. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Are you gonna try again before next week's episode?
My plan is to, like, I ate today for dinner and that's it. So
Okay.
we'll see what I
Wow.
can do.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. I respect that. I think tomorrow night I'm going to do, yeah, I think I'll eat a good dinner tomorrow night and then I'll fast Wednesday. I think, so I'm going to try to do a 24. And if I'm feeling good at 24, maybe I'll go. I got to see how the blood sugar's doing too. I don't want to die in
Yeah.
my sleep. So you log on here next Monday and you're like, where's Jrich at? And it turns out he's in the other room as stiff as a board. So
Oh, dude, yeah, it's worth it. I mean, if you could do it, that's 24 is when your body starts to kick stuff into gear. So
yeah,
maybe you could make that the rhythm of your life. save you a little bit of money.
I mean, in theory, you could. I've definitely got
Hmm.
the excess calories stored here,
Yeah, just let
but
the body feed off the fat.
it's such a discipline, though.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. That's my commitment to the viewers. You're gonna get at least 24 hours out of me by next week this time. So
Within one full week, you'll not eat for 24 hours straight, or just
straight,
24 hours over the course of a week. Okay.
straight,
I know if you're like, I'm going to literally be eating from now till next Monday.
nonstop grazing.
This is like one of those, what do they call them? Where you would, they'd have those phone marathons and people were like on the phones in the background is like, you need to call and send us money today. We're going to be here at these phones. You see the people in the background answering the phones, picking up your donations. It's like
Yeah,
those marathon type things.
yeah. There's that
You,
Seinfeld where Kramer was working there. Yeah,
oh, that's
but
awesome.
anyways, yeah. That's what you get, viewers. By next week, I'm gonna give you 24. Jeremy may be able to pull out 72.
We're
We'll
going.
see.
Yeah, we'll see what can happen. That means dinner Thursday night.
All right.
It's interesting because some people I had researched and read were like, oh, like you come off your fast and they're like, you'll eat food and your body will just, have an explosion on the toilet. But I actually did not. And not that anybody was wondering, but because that was my big thing is I'm like, I want to test this out. I think everybody was eating the wrong stuff coming off of it. It sounded like a few
Sure.
people binged like Chipotle. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, good grief, even without a fast Chipotle will land you on the toilet. So
Yeah.
I just came off of it with meat and yeah, it was good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds safe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I will, that's what I'll do. So tomorrow night, I'll have a nice dinner and then we'll go for it. We'll see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that
That sounds
sounds
good.
good. I like the commitment.
Yeah.
Which one you want to jump into? You want to jump into the sketchy businesses? That could probably be a pretty short segment.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. What do you got in mind?
Yeah.
I've got some sketchy businesses. If you want me to go, I can list some, but, I didn't know what you were thinking when you sent this over.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, we could reference back to, I don't know, is it season one, episode one, two, or three, where we talked about Charlie?
Yeah, that was
And
4, I think. But
was it
anyways,
four?
yeah,
So we were driving through, where were we driving through? Driving back from the beach last week. And we happened to pass this place called Bitcoin Ben's Crypto Club. What do you think of when you hear that?
yeah. I don't even what is going on in there. I don't know. Like, yeah, I picture like a shady cafe, and yeah, that's I I don't know. I can definitely see where you're going with this with the guy
Okay, if you
that.
close your eyes, who would you walk into in that
Sure,
place?
our friend Josh is sitting there. Yeah, he's in there and he's got a cafe latte or something that he's drinking. So
Okay, close your eyes again. What is he wearing probably in this cafe?
linen, something made of linen, and probably got like some brown leather flip flops on, some Jerusalem cruisers, and he's just sitting there, and he's trying to talk me into it and how it's a good idea and oh yeah. So and he's the only one in there. The owner's not even there. That's what I picture. So,
Oh, dude, I think that's my exact image.
yeah,
Yeah. So, okay, so obviously Charlie, we talked about, he was the guy we were selling the Wii's to Josh, who was selling them to Bitcoin Charlie.
Yeah.
Um, and then of course, so we're me and you and Josh are in a group chat, and I texted that through. And do you remember what Josh responded? He said that Charlie actually owned a warehouse of Bitcoin machines.
Did he really say that?
He texted back in the group and said he had that until the cost of the power of running those machines cost more than it was producing income.
I missed that message, but that doesn't
Oh
surprise
yeah.
me. I often miss messages, so
Yeah,
that's
dude.
crazy.
Yeah, I just thought that was the funniest thing to me when I heard that. I'm like, I'm not surprised that crypto Charlie had a Bitcoin machine warehouse.
I don't even know how that stuff works. I told you about my friend who was into it, and like, I don't understand it. And maybe I'm just, I don't know. I think I'm starting to, the kids use the term mid. Have you ever heard that before?
They call you mid?
No, like they'll have pizza for lunch and you're like, how was it? And they're like, it was mid, like middle of the road. And I
Okay.
feel like some people have told me, oh, you have a high IQ because you're funny and you're quick. But the more I get through life, the more I'm thinking I'm just mid. Like I'm middle of the road. There's nothing special because I can't understand these like super complex things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I I don't even know where my car keys are right now. So like, I'm not going to tell you how to invest imaginary
Oh,
money into an imaginary thing, and they use terms like pancake swap. Have you ever like watched these videos?
no, dude.
I
Maybe we
try
should
to
watch
follow
one live
along.
in person.
Yeah, like my buddy does, and my buddy Chris at Mobile Trades, if you want to check him out. But he has a channel, tons of followers, and he's like, all right, so hey guys, like this coin has got like he just goes in, he just says all these words that don't make any sense. Like market cap of this and the investors or the what are they called? I forget the crew, the dev team or whatever development team. Like he's like using all these phrases and like all this stuff. And I'm just like, what is going on? I have no idea what's happening. Like, yeah. When
Dude,
I
and
was,
you're good at sales. If you got those terms down, you could be selling it up.
I, I can't sell something I don't understand. Like, how do you sell that? Where I come from, you make money by collecting aluminum cans. What else do you need? So I don't get it, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. It's
cryptocurrency, sketchy business. Let's start there. Crypto cafes, all that's sketchy.
100% sketchy.
What
Something
else is
illegal's going on.
sketchy is every Dollar General location in America is a sketchy business.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've been in Dollar Generals. I frequent them to my shame, but they got good prices on stuff, and so I'm always
They do.
they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
They're all over the place. And so,
Yeah.
but there's always just like junk everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're lucky if you find a worker. They're normally like they just kind of appear and you're like,
Yeah.
what were they doing? And obviously nothing because the store's in shambles.
Yeah. I don't know what their business strategy is other than like find rundown areas, throw up a metal building, hire one or two people with or without teeth, and then just throw crap in all of the aisles. Like that's what they're doing. So it doesn't make sense, but it's all sketchy.
Dude, that's true. That's a sketchy business. But hey, it's working for them.
Yeah, I still go there, but like I know what I'm getting into. Obviously, if I
Yeah.
wanted things cleaner and better, I would go someplace else, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
I got this for $2. I want to go get it.
Dude, yeah, especially I think about like for birthday parties and stuff, we'll go there, you get plates, napkins, stuff super cheap, balloons,
Hmm.
and I'm like, The only thing that stinks is that on occasion you're going in there and then you'll happen to run into people like who goes in there with a shopping cart and you always end up with behind one or two people that have like 60 items in their cart and the self checkout is broken and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, it's like you're grocery
I've walked
shopping.
out a few times.
Yeah, yeah, it's frustrating. Or like weird stuff happens there, like someone randomly walks up to me in an aisle and I'm just minding my own business and they're like, "Hey, can you give me a ride?" I'm like, I, I'm sorry, I can't. I can't. And it's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, what? How is this normal behavior? So like, what is going on?
Dude, there's something about you because remember you shared that story about the guy at all was it at Aldi's or Walmart that was talking about the about your how how smooth you got your head.
Yeah, that was at Aldi. I don't, maybe I just look approachable and like, I'm a big guy. So for the viewers, I'm 6'2". I weigh 114 pounds soaking wet. And so, like, I'm a big dude. And so I don't know if they just like I'm a little squishy. So maybe they're just comfortable and like have a childlike face, a baby face. I don't know, you know?
Go ask that large child for a ride.
Yeah. This guy looks safe. But I couldn't do it. And usually, like I've said yes to people before, like I saw these guys walking one time and I was motivated, just got out of church and I was like, I'm going to see if these guys want to ride or this guy wants to ride. He's pushing a shopping cart. And so I
Uh-oh.
pull up next to him. He's on West Tusk in Canton. And I was like, hey man, you want to ride? And he's like, yeah, that'd be great. And he's like, can I put my stuff in the back? And I'm like, sure. And he pulls a chainsaw out of the shopping cart, puts it in the back of my car, takes out like a hammer, like all this stuff, like a rake he pulls out of there. He's like, I think this will fit. It's like hanging out of the window. And then he's like, man, I'm super hungry. And I was like, I'll take you through McDonald's, man, get you a 20-piece chicken nugget. It's $5. He's like, that'd be great. He said, hey, that's my friend up the road. Can we pick him up? And I was like, sure. Like, I thought I was going to get murdered. And so I drop him off at this real shady motel, like the Perry Inn or something like that. And I had a bag of potatoes in the back seat. I was like, you guys want these potatoes? And he's like, that'd be awesome. So they've got 20 chicken nuggets and 5 pounds of potatoes. And the door opens to this hotel and 101 Dalmatians is on the TV. And they're like, thanks for the ride, man. We really appreciate it. And I'm just like, how did I get myself in this situation? I thought I was going to be murdered.
Dude, the
Yeah.
Perry Inn, that's I've always wondered what was like cuz you can see the sign, but I've only seen police cars racing back in there.
Yeah. It's shady. Shady. That's
Wow.
a shady business. Shady hotels that people, cause like, there's Holiday Inn Express and, Marriott and like these hotels that
Yeah.
it's like,
Yep.
okay, yeah, I'll stay there. But then there's these hotels or these motels where people live. Like any place that's giving you a monthly rate is shady.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I just can't get down with that. I
Dude,
don't know.
that is the funniest story.
Yeah.
A
I
chainsaw, a hammer, and a rake. What did his buddy throw in the car?
He didn't have anything. He was just walking, but he smelled like beer real bad. And I was just like, all right, yeah, get in, man. And so he's like getting in the back, like scooting the chainsaw over. And like, I'm worried
Oh
that
my
like
goodness.
fluid was going to leak out. Thankfully it didn't, but I'm just like, how do I get myself in these situations? So
Hey, you just volunteer your car for a homeless guy. That's how you get into those spots.
yeah, I've done stuff like that before too, but it's been like normal people that I'm just
Hmm.
like, oh, it's cold outside. Let me see if this guy wants a ride or something. I only offer rides to guys. So I think I'm just feeling motivated. Like, yeah, I'm gonna give this guy a ride. But
Hmm. That's
anyways,
cool.
you got any other sketchy businesses?
No, that was the only one. I've got an interesting interaction when we hit that segment that deals with the business. I'll share that later.
Yeah, I had one more and I just Googled sketchy businesses, and it came up. It was on the news. It was on the news like 2 days ago in Dalton, Ohio, which is not far from where we are. And apparently, there's a company selling um, stair stair accessories for pets. They're calling old people and they're asking them if their pet is having a hard time going up and down the stairs, and they sell an easy to use ramp, and they'll send them the ramp, and so then they'll charge the people for this thing, and then they never send it to them. So apparently they've been targeting Dalton, Ohio. It's called Dean's Stair Treads. So Dean, if you're out there, it's a little shady. Um, I respect what you're doing to try to help pets, but you've got some orders to fulfill, okay? Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned him because I think he's actually our sponsor for this segment.
This segment's sponsored by Dean's Stair Treads.
Dean Shady Stair Treads.
No, in all seriousness,
Dude.
Sketchy Businesses is sponsored by Just Chiropractic in Canton.
Speaking of sketchy.
Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Dr. B. Relax.
Oh, you do? What's the special code, listeners?
Witchcraft, and you get
Yep.
$10 off your first visit with the code Witchcraft. Go in, see Dr. Brian and the staff there today. Yeah, the ex-Amish intern with the strong hands. Tell her I sent you. So,
Does she have a code?
just same code, Witchcraft.
Okay.
So, yeah. But
I don't know if
anyways,
it was like buggy or something like that.
Bonnet, use the code Bonnet. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. What a funny. I mean, I love that you just Googled sketchy businesses and that happened to pop up too.
Yeah.
Shysters.
It was shady, man. Yeah, let's get into
Dude,
this.
oh, you know, on a side note, let's go back in time. I just thought of this. Do you remember? I mean, I don't think it's a business right now, but it's also on West Tusk. That place has got, dude, West Tusk Lincoln Way's got so many shady businesses
Yep.
there. It's like just a thoroughfare for shade. Do you remember when my sister was working at that one restaurant and did not get paid?
Yes, I do. I remember going in there.
Yeah. It was
We went,
me, you,
yeah,
Sean, Seth, and Wilcox. We were going in there to talk to the owner because he had stiffed her for like several paychecks, like 2 in a row or something.
yeah, I remember that.
And apparently the girl at the front, is like, I'll go check in the back. Of course, she's like, he wasn't there. We should have walked to the back.
Yeah, yeah, we should have and just messed this guy up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a shady business.
yeah. I really lack patience for people that are just like downright doing wrong. Not like the check got lost in the mail or like accidental this or that, but just like you're doing wrong to women and children. Like I just don't have any patience for that,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
at
You're going
all.
to ask them to work and then you're going to deliberately not pay them.
Yeah, messed up.
Yeah. That was a shady spot. I think it's changed hands a few times. I think the last time I think I drove by, it was like a car dealership and I'm like, dude, that even looks shady. So
Yeah,
I think there's some buildings that need to just be demolished and like nothing rebuilt there because it's almost like shade, and then someone else moves in and it's another shady business.
yeah. It's really hard
But
to like redeem a location.
yeah.
Like after you've been a used mattress store, where do you go from there? You know?
Pet ramps.
Yeah, I guess there was a used mattress store and then they turned into like a therapy store, which is like selling THC and vapes and pot and stuff like that. Like that's where you're going. Okay? Like you're not on the way up. That location is not going to improve. Just tear the building down, sell the land, and move.
Dude, speaking of vapes, I just heard a story recently about someone and their child getting a hold of the dad's vape pen
Hmm.
because it was the one that doesn't, apparently they have a lock on them and this one doesn't have a lock. And so they like the kid hit the vape and I would love to be in a hospital and hear the stories of these kids that are being rushed in there because they get into, unfortunately, like, their parents' vape pen. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We don't even know what's in there.
Yeah. It's all so new. Like, we don't got any studies on this stuff. You're sucking
No.
it in. You're letting your kids grab a hold of it. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
messed
We've,
up.
we've been talking lately. I'm always telling the kids, I'm like, listen, as you get older and now it's early, like right now, but I'm trying to build into them that, you need to be aware of the people you surround yourself with, your friendships. That's the biggest thing in your life. And, at a very low level, here's where, it's at their level now. And I said, you'll get to a stage one day where your friends that, you've been friends with, some of them are going to decide they want to smoke. And, if they start smoking, you're going to just walk away and you're going to leave.
Sure.
And so we started having this conversation. And so now my kids are ultra aware. We're going down the road or we're walking. Why is that man smoking? Does he want to get cancer?
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, yeah, I don't know why he's smoking. And, maybe he will get cancer, maybe he won't. But like, it's so funny, like in their mind, why would anybody do it?
Yeah. It's just
But
blunt. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's the thing.
blunt honesty.
Yeah, and I think we've both taught our kids that, like with smoking, with alcohol, with those kinds of things, and like I try to instill it in my kids. Like we just talked this weekend, and for the parents out there, if you've got kids that are great, like if you've got kids that have understanding, have good conversations with them. It's really important.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's lacking, and we can't let technology raise our kids. And there's
no,
times too where we got to be like, hey. We're not going to be on tablets and TVs. We're going to go outside and we're going to do this stuff. But I was talking to my kids about you're affected by what you hear. We got into a conversation about that and they were like, what do you mean? And I just gave them an example. They had heard somebody was sick and then all of a sudden, like this was a true thing. They heard there was like a problem with a baby. And so then they got really concerned, like right away they flipped and they went from, talking about something else to now they're down on this and they're really worried and all this. And I said, look back at that conversation. You were affected by words that you heard. They made you have
mm,
feelings and then those
mm-hmm,
feelings make you do things. And
mm-hmm,
so I said, you have to be careful about people that you're listening to, about things that you're hearing, things that we're watching, music we're listening to, all these different things, because all those things have an effect. And people are like, no, that doesn't have an effect on me. It's like, you're crazy. If you really
yeah,
believe that, like you're just going to be totally uncensored and listen to whatever and watch whatever and have all these crazy friends that are saying things. It's like, no, you will be affected by that. And
yep.
we were talking about that on TikTok today. So we had a counselor come into work today and it was really interesting. He was talking about, um, he was in particular talking about
Was he
mind.
talking to like you? He was talking to you? Is this your counselor?
No, the whole company, the whole company.
Oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, no, and I do. So this is for the viewers too. I do go to counseling. So that's been a really big help for me. But, yeah, it's been a very big help and I wish I would have went a lot sooner. So I kind of waited
Mm.
for things to kind of break down before I went and I should have went sooner. But anyways, my company has a counselor come in, I think like every quarter and do like a talk on something. And so he was talking about mindfulness and how to think in particular, like you deal with people with addiction and things like that. Can you still hear me okay?
Yep. I got you
Okay.
loud and clear.
Yeah. So, but he was talking about something interesting, like you want to stop doing something. So let's say, I say I'm going to stop eating or
Cantaloupe.
no, he had a good example, but he compared your brain to like a social media app. And he said, if every time you're scrolling the app and a cat picture comes up and you're like, oh wow, that's a nice cat. And you stop and look at the cat picture and you like the cat picture and you leave a comment like, wow, what a nice cat. And then you keep scrolling. It's going to feed you cat pictures because it
Hmm.
knows, hey, Justin really likes cats. And so it's going to keep feeding you that. And he was talking about that in relation to your brain. Like you'll decide, I'm going to stop doing X habit, whatever that habit is, right? And he said, your brain has, because you've done that habit for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, your brain's going to keep feeding that to you. It's going to take
Hmm.
time before it realizes, oh, Justin doesn't like cats anymore. So we're going to stop feeding him cat pictures. He actually likes this now. So we're going to feed him that thing, right? I thought it was a really good
Interesting. So
analogy.
that's how the
Yeah.
brain works.
Yeah. Essentially you've got this stream of, you can be conscious and dialed in on what you're doing. But he said, if you're just sitting in a waiting room, your brain has got thoughts just running through it and you decide, I'm going to grab onto this one and think about it, or I'm just going to let that pass by.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
the problem is we're grabbing onto the wrong thoughts sometimes and we're thinking on those. And because we did that, it's going to feed us more things in the
Of that
algorithm
same.
per se.
Hmm.
Yeah, so thought it was really interesting, and he was like, I talked to a buddy about like how those algorithms work with YouTube Reels and YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok, all that stuff. But it essentially feeds you. So if you take like 2 seconds longer to scroll past something, it'll say he liked that thing. I'm going to feed him more of that. And so it's super dangerous, right? To, you know, be living in that environment where you're just being fed by technology. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And we've got to teach our kids about that. We've got to have those
Yeah.
conversations.
Dude, we need to do a 72-hour fast from social media.
Yeah. That
There's
one,
not a part of me that has ever missed social media.
you don't have
I've not been
anything, do
on
you?
nothing. And I contemplated it a little while for work and stuff, but I honestly think I'm going to just steer clear of it.
Hmm.
My life's simple and enjoyable this way. And, yeah,
Yeah. I got a
but that's
face,
interesting.
I got a Facebook probably a few months ago because I wasn't on anything before, but I don't know. I just thought with this stage of life that I'm in, maybe just staying connected and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll do like
No,
I'll be
I think it's applicable for your stage.
yeah, and I'll be like, hey, I'm not going to use this for the whole day today, or I'll take a few days off and I'll just delete the app or whatever. But yeah, I felt like it made
This,
sense.
also, let's not forget this segment of brain research therapy is sponsored by Enjoy Optical.
Yes, enjoy
Stop
optical.
over.
Yep, you can stop by the main office in Edmond, Oklahoma, or if you don't live in Oklahoma, they actually have pop-up locations in every Dollar General nationwide. So you can go into any Dollar General, and if you use the code SCAM, you're gonna get you're gonna get 10% off your pair of glasses, and you're gonna get a bonus pair of lenses for free. So you stop in there and you tell them we sent you, and they're gonna take care of you. So again, that's main office in Edmond, Oklahoma, or any Dollar General pop-up location in the United States. Thousands
So,
of them.
a question that probably a lot of viewers are asking themselves, can I expect the same experience at a pop-up location as the main office?
100%. 100%. It's going to be the exact same. A lot of similarities in the staff and the way that they dress and the way that they treat customers, store cleanliness, vibes. You're going to get all of that. So the Edmond office is basically a large Dollar General location without the snacks. They just have the eyewear. So stop in today. If you're in Edmond, see our friend. His name is Josh. Yeah, and he'll get you taken care of over there. So if you have issues, let us know. But yeah,
He's our sponsor. Thank you,
yeah,
Josh, for sponsoring that segment.
yeah, we appreciate it. And we'd appreciate it if you guys support our sponsors. They support us. So support them. Go get adjusted. Go get a pair of lenses. You know, so yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome. What a fun segment. That was cool. You had mentioned this, and I thought this was a fun one. We should hit this one up. Is the childhood normal abnormalities
Yeah. Yeah. Let's hit this one.
or
Um,
abnormalities? Is that the right way to say it? I think it is.
so yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be childhood, but the idea is things that you think are normal or things that you do like they are normal, but it's not normal.
Mm.
Or like I grew up this way. Looking back, that wasn't normal.
3 snacks was not normal.
Perfect example of, hey, this is how I knew the world as a child. Turns out no one else is doing this, especially no one else with diabetes, right? And so that's kind of the concept. Um, I have an example.
Oh, okay.
The video game Halo came out in like the year 2005 or 6 or something, right? My brother and I scrounged together enough money to buy an Xbox, and we bought this Xbox. My dad worked third shift, so there would be one night where he would need to stay up and kind of reset his schedule. And so come down one morning, son of a gun's playing Halo. He's like 40 years old or whatever, playing Halo. And he's having the best time, but he's terrible at it. And so what he did, what ended up happening is on Sunday afternoons, he would force us to play video games with him. And we would be like, Dad, we don't want to play. We want to go outside. And he's like, you're not allowed to go outside. You either play the game or go to your room. And looking back, that was not normal
Not
and
normal.
not normal behavior, not a normal childhood. So that's an example for you.
I love it. Dude, that's hilarious. So why did he force you guys to play on Sunday afternoons?
Because he wanted to play multiplayer and kill, like you'd be on a map together and trying to like kill each other and stuff. And yeah, it ended up
Dude,
being a
that's
lot of
funny.
fun. Like we had a lot of fun with it. But I just remember a couple times where like my sister was being forced to play as she's like a 13-year-old girl. And she's like, I just want to go whatever. And he's like, no, you will play. So
Oh man. Poor thing.
yeah. Is there something from your childhood that you can think of like that, or as an adult that you do that it's probably not normal?
Well, yeah, actually one of the first things, and it's funny because I look back on some of the different things with like food and things we did and didn't do, but I thought it was normal to like not go on vacation. I remember
Mm,
having friends that all went on vacation. I think we went on one trip to Disney when I was a little kid. Yeah, it's just like a prayer we got to go. And that's a funny story in of itself because it was my mom and her friend, and my mom took four of us, left one kid behind, my poor sister, of all things, she should have gone to Disney.
hmm
This is Johanna. She's like, I don't know, probably a couple years old. She's left behind with my dad for a week. And so it was my mom, her friend, and then there was like, was it eight? Eight kids crammed into a minivan plus all of our luggage. That
Sounds
was not
enjoyable.
normal.
No.
Not normal. But so yeah, we did that, and then one other time we went to New York to go to to Cooperstown, and those were the only 2 times. So we never did vacation at all. And the one to New York was the only time we went as a complete family on vacation. So like I
Mm,
grew up thinking like, yeah, it's normal to not go on vacation.
yeah. Yeah. We
Just
just
this
went
is what we
camping.
do.
We went camping every summer. So that was our vacation. But it was, low budget vacation. We had fun with it. I guess depending on who you ask. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't really go. I didn't go to the beach. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't grow up doing that stuff. So my kids
Yeah,
are
it's interesting.
spoiled.
So I was talking with my wife about it. Yeah, mine too. And she grew up different. Now she would say she grew up poor, and there's an aspect of her life that she did grow up poor. But like I told her, I said, you and we were truly poor. If viewers, if it looks like I'm sleeping, this is just a breeze blowing
Yeah, I was gonna comment like you're disappearing, and it doesn't help that your
in.
shirt is like a really similar color to the curtains. It's like,
Yeah, it's like a gold color.
yeah, you look heavenly.
Um, yeah, this one's just blowing. Yeah, you can see we got a nice summer breeze blowing. It's like 75 and it's perfect out. But
This one time I
so
was at
so
the, oh, sorry.
no, you're good. This one time you were what?
I was at the Adidas outlet store in Sunbury, and I
Okay.
was looking for a shirt. They had a deal on t-shirts, and I held up this t-shirt, and there's this black lady there, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And she goes, "Oh, I like it. It's good to see a man in some color." And I was like, "All right,
Ooh.
I'm gonna get it." Well, I put the shirt on, and it's essentially the same color as my skin. So it looks like I have no shirt on at all. It just has a little logo here. So maybe next week I'll wear that for the viewers. So
It's like a pasty shirt.
yeah, basically it's like a light orange salmon color, but it's like, it kind of looks like there's nothing on. So I'll wear it next week for you guys.
I like that.
Yeah. Sorry, man. So yeah,
No, you're good.
that was your thing there. No vacation.
Yeah, no vacation. So my wife, it was funny, we were talking. She grew up, she was used to, she thought everybody had loge seats at like, Cavs games, sports events, things like that. Like everyone sat in like you know, a private box with like catered food. She
Hmm.
thought that was normal. First time we went to a game together, and she's like, we're sitting amongst the common folks,
Yeah.
just normal. And she's like, this is like my first time ever doing this. And I'm like, where'd you grow up?
Yeah.
Of course, it's hard to believe because she did grow up in, the more well-to-do area, and yet she still saves dryer lint.
Yeah. It's true. Weird. Yeah. The first time I went to a Cavs game, as I was an adult, paid for it myself. So it's like, yeah. I don't know. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
Um, a weird thing that I do that would probably, I don't know. It's not normal, I don't think. I psych myself out about going to the bathroom before bed. So, like, I'll take a leak and then I'll lay down for bed. And then I'm like I'll be doing my Bible reading or something. And then 5, 10 minutes goes by and I'm like, well, I better try to go again just in case. And then I go again and, you know, I'm getting ready to actually fall asleep. And I'm like, well, I better just go one more time just to make sure I don't wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom. So like, I don't know. Yeah. So
You'll psych yourself out.
yeah, I'm just like, did I go enough? Is there anything left in there? Is the tank empty? What's going on? And
You
so
think you could just do like a nightly catheter?
that would be ideal. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. I think it might stem from even like as a child. I So how they found out I had diabetes was I started wetting my bed when I was like, 7 years old. And I would get spanked every morning. So RIP dad. But every morning I would get a spanking for peeing my bed. And I'd be crying out, Dad. At night I'd be like, Dad, I'm so thirsty. And he's like, I'm not giving you anything because you'll wet the bed. Turns out my body is like, my blood sugar is like 800 for like 2 weeks in a row. And I'm dying. My organs are fried. And yeah, he felt so bad though.
Oh,
That
dude,
had
I
to be the
can't
worst feeling.
imagine.
Yeah. So he bought me a Sega Genesis. So it was pretty sweet deal. Almost died, but I got to play Sonic. So
Oh, as you're being fueled nightly with a can of syrup peaches and
yeah,
drink the syrup, Justin.
yeah, organs are cooking.
G-
So yeah, it's a weird thing, and yeah, I don't know, something I do. Weird habit.
I wonder how many viewers let us know if you're that way. I think a weird thing that I probably do. So I'm like always, I'm a proactive person in that I'm not thirsty, but I'll drink water so I'm not dehydrated. Because I know when you're thirsty, you're actually dehydrated.
Hmm.
So that's where I was like this week. I'm like, did I get dehydrated? Because I mean, it is warmer than I'm used to. So maybe I'm just not drinking enough. But everywhere I go, I always have a water jug. And you know this about me. I've
Yeah.
always had a water jug. It's like, we'll go in the woods and I'm like, hey, if we happen to get lost, at least I'll have a water jug. That's
Yeah.
literally my thinking all the time. So it's funny because when I'm around a lot of people never have a water jug.
No, most
So
people don't have a water jug.
most people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I respect it. I respect the water jug. That's definitely a weird thing that you have. Or
Yep.
you've always got something that you're drinking out of. I guess now that I think about it, like the coffee cup or the water jug.
That's it.
And for the longest time, that water jug was like broken down. I kept telling you, you got to get yourself a nice jug, Jerry. You're
I
drinking out of
know.
an
I know.
old
Definitely.
lemonade container. You look homeless. I'll stop on Tusk and pick you up, put your chainsaw in the back of my car.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
there's my buddy Jerusalem Josh down there. Do you mind giving him a ride?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm trying to think. So like
Yeah, that's funny.
another weird thing, I thought this when I went to the doctor this past week, my family doctor, he delivered me. And I just think that's not like no one else,
That's
very few people could say that about their family doctor. Like, yeah, these were the first hands that touched me and I shook his hand when I walked in the room. Like, it's just kind of
I know.
strange, you know?
I know when you were telling me about that, I was thinking that's very abnormal.
So I love the guy. And it's, you've obviously got the family history and like he knows everyone in my family and he knows me and medical history and all this. So like you really trust him. He's a Christian guy too and, great guy, but it's definitely not normal.
Yeah.
So
Dude, yeah, it's definitely it's an oddity. I mean, 'cause I couldn't even tell you who delivered me. You could say your life is on the line and it's like, well, adios world, I'm heading out of here. So
yeah, Nolan
I didn't
Byler,
have a clue.
Nolan Byler, Amish,
Shout
ex-Amish.
shout out to Nolan.
He's not listening. So
Definitely not. Okay, so funny um, thing from childhood that I look back on now and I'm like, definitely not normal. I can remember, and this is still to this day, we'll joke around like, hey, we're gonna have a get together, have my dad over, and hey dad, everybody's coming over at 5:30 and they'll show up at 7 o'clock. And it's like, people are going to leave and oh hey, you guys I just got here. And it's like, yeah, we've been here since 5:30.
yeah,
So
that's when we
but my whole
started.
childhood, yeah, we started at 5:30. But my whole childhood, I can remember being when I say late, it drives me nuts if we're getting somewhere and we're supposed to be there and we get there 5 minutes before it's cutting it close. I'm like a 10-minute guy. I need to have like 10
Hmm.
minutes.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit better. Uh, and so we would be 45 minutes late. And as a child, I was just like, that was normal. Like, that was normal, just kind of how our life was. Like, yeah, church may have started at 9 o'clock this morning. We'll see you at 10:15. And it wasn't like, oh, hey, one of the babies got sick. You have
Yeah.
kids.
Sure,
There's
sure.
always moments like this. It was no, my dad is still, he had and maybe it's the name Arthur since you and him share the name. Uh,
I don't share
but
the
he
name.
was
That was my
always,
dad's name.
isn't your middle name Arthur?
No, that was my dad's first name. Was
That's right.
Arthur.
Is your dad's
Yeah.
first name. Sorry. But he was always on the pot taking what he thought he had to go poop. He said to make sure like everything was out.
Kind of like
But
me. Yeah.
everything was out, just like you. But it's like before we go somewhere, I need to make sure that I'm like completely good to go.
Yeah.
And that could take 45 minutes of sitting.
Hmm. Yeah. That would
Quite
be
an
frustrating.
experience.
Yeah. And like, you're the one that suffered, you know? Like
Yeah.
my mom was always late. I remember on the way to church, we were always just like speeding and like barely getting there on time. School, they had a policy where if you were late, you after you were late 3 times, you had to do what was called a Friday school. So for 2 hours after school on a Friday, you had an extended detention. And so I was in Friday school all the time in high school. It was crazy, but she was always late. And so, yeah,
Do you think that was her way of getting you guys out of the house even longer?
no, I don't think so. But yeah, it was just, I
Tony,
don't
if you're out
know.
there listening, tell us the truth.
Dude, it was all the time and it was frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. I find myself like always cutting it too close. Like I'm always like, oh, I got more time. I'll go ahead and do this or that. And then I lose track of time. Like I'm real bad at like the reality of how long things take. That's my problem.
Yeah, and it's had a little impact. I was thinking there was another thing that I was thinking about that was like an abnormal normal as an adult now. But I can remember, um, you start reaching those teenage years, your body's changing, you start applying deodorant. And I've just always been like, I'm more of an over the top kind of a person. So my wife will laugh at me sometimes because I will put on what she considers a abnormal amount of deodorant. But
Hmm.
I'm always like, listen, the upside to this is you never have to worry, did he put enough deodorant on?
Sure.
You know, that's just, you don't have to worry about that. And it's funny because there's been sometimes she'll almost go out of the house and she's like, oh, I almost forgot to put deodorant on. And I'm like, how do you forget to put deodorant on?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you do the same thing
Yeah. I keep an extra stick in the car. Actually forgot to do
in
it
case you
today.
forgot.
Yeah. I'm serious. I forgot today and I had to put some on. I can relate. I don't know.
Dude, okay, so she told me tonight, she's like, I think my one toe might be out of joint. And I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, I'm gonna ask Justin if he's ever had a toe out of joint because you guys have so many similarities with your bizarre injuries that I'm like, he's probably had one out of joint.
Well, with the diabetes, I can't really feel them. So, just kidding. No, I haven't. I haven't had any foot problems, thankfully. But yeah,
Yeah, not yet.
yeah, needs to get some limbs. That's what she needs. Some good shoes.
Yeah,
So,
that's true. Maybe that's what I need to do is get her into a pair of limbs.
yeah, good boot. Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Let's see if I have anything else. Yeah. No, not really. I mean, I'm overall disorganized. I think it's some of the ADHD stuff. Like I just have opened so many screens on my computer and, on my phone even. There's just so many windows open and it's overwhelming. I get overwhelmed by it, but it's just how I function. I don't know how I function that way, but I do. So, yeah.
And take a wild guess. I've got as soon as I'm done with one, it's out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I need to be more that way,
Adios.
but I don't know why. I just kind of pile stuff up. So, yeah.
Cat pictures, cantaloupe,
Yeah. That's all
pulse rates.
yeah, it's social media. Social media is just feeding me cats and cantaloupe. So, yeah. If they could combine them together, that'd be great.
Oh,
But
oh, AI, see what they can do. They can do something for you.
that's freaky. Yeah, I should check that out. Yep.
Okay, dude. So we got to move on to this last segment, and dude, I have got a good one for you. The interesting interactions.
Okay.
You ready for it? So, I've got two that are they're going to be great. So close your eyes again, and I want you to picture if I say trailer park and trucker and female, what do you picture? Describe that to me.
trailer park trucker female.
Yeah. Those are your three key words.
Okay. So, slightly heavy set woman. Hair is dyed. It's not a natural color. She's wearing cutoff jean shorts. She's got tattoos. Um, yeah, and heavy makeup on. That's what I got.
Dude, if we had a Ring camera to describe the pool lady, you just described her.
Really? That makes me feel good.
Yes.
Good for
To
her.
a T. So my wife wasn't feeling good on Sunday, so I took the kids to church, and we came back, and she was like, we got back home. She's like, I have to tell you, she's like, I was hoping you were gonna get back here sooner. She's like, I wish you would have been here sooner to see what I saw. And I was like, what happened? And yeah, everything you described and more
Mm.
was our pool lady that was here.
What was more?
Well, what was more is a little bit more than slightly overweight,
Mm.
and the top came off, revealing a string bikini top.
I'm listening. Uh,
Dude, I was crying. I was like, did you take a picture? She's like, no. I said, you know, I would have taken a picture to show you. I was like, not that I needed to see this, but you literally described her. I think she has red hair,
yeah.
definitely a couple tats. There's cut off jean shorts. And she's out here. Now, mind you, this is like someone, so they obviously run this as a business. So, you know, my wife is like, well, maybe she thought no one was home. She's giving her the benefit of the doubt. And I'm like, no, she knows everybody's home. In everyone's backyards, I can look across and see what Jerry's watching on CNN at night.
Mm.
I'm like, she's giving the neighborhood a show.
Yeah.
So,
That's
anyways, it wasn't necessarily an interaction. It was an interaction my wife kind of had from afar, but she's like, I almost was outside. I was going to do some reading and just kind of sit outside and see if that helped me feel a little better. And she said they literally happened to pull up like 5 minutes before she was going outside.
Yeah. And it's like
And
one of
I'm
those
like, could you
things.
imagine?
It's like one of those things where you're just like, you're like dumbfounded. Like you're like, no way. Like this can't be real. Like you don't necessarily say anything or like interact with them, but you're like, what? No. No. This isn't like, that's the thing. Like that person has to wake up every day and be themselves. Like,
Yeah,
think about that. That's crazy.
I know. I
And it's
know.
normal. Like it's normal to them to be like, yeah, let's throw on the string bikini and the cutoff shorts, touch up my red hair dye, and get out there and put some chemicals in the pool. It's like, what in the world? So,
Oh, yeah. You're right. You're right. It's hard to believe that there's people out there like that. But I mean, I'm glad that there are people like that because I'm like, you know what? This lady's got enough confidence to carry her this far. She's going places.
yeah, she's going to as soon as she's done putting the chemicals in the pool, she's going to the Bitcoin cafe for a latte. There's a man there. There's a man there in linens who'd be interested in meeting with you. No, it's just like it's nothing against the person. Like if I'm there and
No.
like let's talk, let's have a conversation, you know what I mean? And like you know, I'm a Christian and I'm passionate about talking to people and things like that, but it's just like on a personal level, I just don't get it sometimes when I see how people are dressed or like where they're like what they're doing in a store or something. I'm just like, what are we doing?
I
Like,
know.
what is going
I
on?
know.
Yeah,
I was at a store one time with the kids, and there's a lady. She just had what's it called? A whale tail.
yeah,
I got you fully engaged. Um, Literally, she's there in the aisle. We're walking down. I'm like, surely she has to feel there's a breeze blowing across the entire back of my backside, and there's people in the aisle. Like, in my mind, I'm wearing boxers, and if I bend over and I kind of feel like I make sure my boxers are pulled up and
Sure,
pull my
sure,
shirt down.
sure.
And, the kids are just like, they're just laughing. And I'm like, I, you know, I'm not trying to teach our kids to laugh at that, but I'm like, if I'm a kid, as an adult, I'm laughing at that inside. But like for them, they're like, does she not realize her underwear is sticking out up her back? And I'm like,
Yeah,
maybe not. Maybe not.
yeah. That's the thing. It's just like I tell that to my
It's an
kids.
awareness.
It's like sometimes so like I'll be disciplining them or like talking to them, and I'm like the thing that I'm talking to them about is funny. Like, guys, we can't laugh at that or whatever. But I'm like, I get it. Like, it's funny. It is funny. And so it's hard. It's that balance of like,
It is.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want to be like a total square, but you also want the best for your kids. You want them to be polite and all that, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So that was a wild one. So I got one even more wild for you. We had this was just crazy. So today we dropped and I think this actually happened today to give me a good story for the podcast. Two things. There's actually a really two cool moments that came out of it, and then just a wild moment. So dropped my wife off for her training, and we're driving down the road, and all of a sudden I see like a code flash on the van. I'm like, oh crap. And I'm like, so let's go to an auto store because I can at least have them pull like the scan code on it, see what's going on with it. Well, then all of a sudden, like a few more things happen, and then next thing you know, I'm like losing power. I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Pull over. Thankfully, there's like this big driveway, like a gravel driveway. Pull off to the side, and we get a tow truck lined up. Tow truck driver gets us. I'm like, oh, we'll just take it over to like there's a mechanic somewhat close by. Gets decent reviews, 4.7. So I'm like, okay, I feel pretty comfortable. We get there, and of course they know you're from out of state, which number one, any mechanic that is going to take advantage because of that, you've already got me on high alert.
Yeah.
I'm also on high alert when Scott, the guy I talked with, was like, "Yep, we can get you in today, no problem, yada yada." And I get there, and now all of a sudden Scott is giving me a different story, and it doesn't help that Scott, he hasn't listened to our episode of Facing the Facts. Scott is trying to comb from the
Oh
back
no.
all the way forward,
Yes, he
and
is.
he's doing it. He is combing all the way from the back facing forward. Um, Now, when I'm talking to Scott, if he's a mechanic, I can see his wheels turning. Because Scott is not a mechanic, and I don't know if he even knows how to open up the hood of a car, Scott is perplexed by what I'm telling him. And he's like, yeah, we've got one mechanic. So yeah, I'm not sure when we'll be able to get to you. And I was like, okay, so when I called you earlier, you said you could get to me today, but now you don't think you get to me, even though that was like a half hour ago. And mind you, the one mechanic that's allegedly there working on stuff is just outside on his phone, just hanging out when we first pull in.
Hmm.
So I'm like, whatever. So I'm out. They come out to the car, and I don't think they even know what they're doing, to be truthful. I could be wrong, but when you get like just bad vibes,
Sure.
I was getting sketch shade vibes all the way through. He's got this notepad that he's just like doing like scribbly artwork on, and I'm sitting in the car and just kind of watching and just listening to my senses, and I'm like, he's like, yep, it's gonna be battery, alternator, and a belt. And I was like, but we've not run any diagnostics on this. Nope, that's what it'll be. We'll be able to get you out of here, but we'll see when we'll be able to get a chance to get to this. And I'm like, he's like, I'll go inside. I'll write this up. Immediately, I'm like, no way on planet Earth am I leaving my van here. There's not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a chance. And mind you, it's like probably in the 80s today. So I've got all three kids. They're sweating.
Yeah.
We're broken down. We're out of state. I called my mechanic back home. That's actually a true shout out. That's a great auto shop. All makes and models in case you need a spot to go to.
Yeah. Been
They know
there.
what they're doing. Honest people. They'll treat you right. They'll actually take care of your problem. And so I call them and I was like, what could it be? So they're kind of telling me a couple things, and I'm like, this shop doesn't even know what they're doing. So I don't even go back in. I call AAA, get back on the phone with them, and they're like, hey, you can only get one tow per vehicle per day. And I'm like, listen, this is the situation. So I explained it to him, and the lady hung up on me. Allegedly couldn't hear me. And
What?
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I call back again. Got this sweet lady named Lacey. Maybe it's the name Lacey. Southern lady. And I was like, listen, here's the situation. I need to get towed to another mechanic. We are not leaving our vehicle here. She's like, yeah, sure, honey, and stuff like that. And I totally get it. So she's got us squared away, got us another mechanic lined up, got the vehicle towed. Thanks to the Lord, my mom and her husband are down here, so they picked us up and got us back to the church that's down here. The pastor's like, yeah, you can borrow. We got like a transit van that you can borrow. And I was like, okay, cool, that'd be awesome. Like we probably just need it for like maybe like a day or two. So we pull into the church, and there's a Prius and a short bus. And I was like, I called him. I was like, just a quick question for you. When you said transit, did you mean like short bus? He was like, no, we've got a transit. And apparently maybe the transit must have been someone else had it or something like that. So my kids and I ended up making it back home in a Prius, and it was fun.
Yeah. Your
But
testosterone was plummeting.
it was plummeting, so that's why I needed to do the fast to get my testosterone back up.
Yeah.
But it was the most wild interaction because this guy, Justin, when I tell you like shady, it was, I mean, you could just feel the shade.
Yeah.
Did he ever come back out with the price quote? No.
Yeah.
I think he knew, like, this guy is not staying. So of course, it's probably awkward for him where he sees another tow truck driver. I talked to the tow truck driver, and he's like, you're actually the second person in this month that has been towed here that has requested a tow from here to go to another shop.
Yeah. Good for you though for just yeah.
And I was like, yeah. I'm like, I don't trust him. And I said, I wouldn't send anybody here. But it's kind of cool because then, the kids, we're always looking for opportunities to, if the opportunity arises, give people a gospel tract. And it was sweet tonight. We were getting ready for bed, and Sophia was like, she's like praying. She's like, thank you, God, for the chance we had to give those two, for keeping us safe today, and for the people we got to meet, for being able to give them like a Bible tract. And I pray that they would get saved from that.
Hmm.
And it's so sweet like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It was like went from this bizarre interaction with Scott with the comb over to like something so sweet as that I was like, you know what? That's probably exactly why we broke down today.
Yeah.
I needed to drive a Prius to just keep me humble,
Yeah.
and these guys needed to get the gospel.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome,
it
man.
was a crazy moment.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet though. Cool. It's yeah, you wonder a lot of times like why things are happening the way that they're happening, and there's always a bigger picture, and yeah,
Yeah,
we freak out because it's not going the way we want, but that's awesome.
yeah. It was a wild day, but it was fun. We had a good time together.
Yeah, good deal.
So
Well, we're ready to wrap it up here. You got anything else you want to add?
I think that was it. I think that was
Yeah,
the story I wanted to share.
cool. All right, guys, signing off. Hopefully you have a good week. We'll see you next week. So
See you on the other side of the fast. 24 hours from you, right?
24 hours from me. That's what
All
we got.
right.
All right, see you guys.
Perfect. See ya. Love you guys.